Another live stream on 4 Tutorial Not Found. I am your host, Josh. In this stream, we will actually be getting to that Rails edit that we talked about in the last stream. But first, I made a few edits to the thumbnail generator off camera, so I thought maybe we just take a peek at those. So let's dive in. Oh, I also totally revamped my virtual machine here. I switched window managers. We're now using not Sway. We're using i3. I use Sway on my host machine, but on the VM, X Windows seems to be a little bit better for my streaming setup. So we're using i3, but a lot of the same configuration I run on my main desktop, except for one thing that's actually kind of bothering me right now. I've got the bar at the bottom, which I always run my bar at the top. So let's fix that. That should be a pretty easy one. Also, I've got base 16 installed on here, base 16 shell. So tmux no longer looks like trash, which is nice as well. Let's open up the config for i3. And I think this is a pretty easy one. Bar. I think there's just a placement thing in here. And if it's not just in here, then I might skip this for now. I thought it was just in here. Well, you know what? We're already working on it. We'll just go to the i3 config, user's guide, bar, configuring the bar, position. That sounds like what we want. Bar, position top, easy enough. Reload that i3 config with Windows Shift C. There we go. Now it's at the top like I'm used to. Delightful. Okay, let's move that over there. And then let's fire up the thumbnail generator. Let's get out of here. And I think I'm just going to open up the app.js file, just scroll down and just sort of, I don't know, talk about the things that are relevant, that were big changes. The first one, the width, I don't know where I got 1366. I don't know if that's a TV resolution or something like that. But it occurred to me I could just do the math. I know the aspect ratio, and we could use a feature of Vim to do that. And that is this kind of special calculation register. I don't know the actual name of it. But if I'm in insert mode and I type Control-R to get into register mode and type equals, then I get this little equals thing at this bottom here. So I know the height I want is 720. So I can multiply that by 16, divide by 9, and we get 1280 like it's supposed to be. That fixed the aspect ratio of the thumbnails. Then the next thing we have in here is this wrap text function. We wrote this in the last video, but I made a little tweak to it. I added this dry run parameter here, and basically that just runs the function without actually printing anything to the canvas. And that will allow us to figure out how many lines it gets through. Well, one more than the number of lines it gets through. And then I actually return the sort of number of pixels that the box ended up taking up. So it's the number of lines we got through -1 because we increment at the end here, times whatever the line height that was passed. And that will allow me, or that what that allowed me to do is take the subtitle and actually align it to the bottom. So I could just position it relative to the bottom of the screen. Draw a triangle, I don't think changed or didn't change substantially. Then down here in, one thing I still need to do is actually make my use effect only fire when I want it to. We really only need this stuff to rerun if title or subtitle changes. So we'll add the we'll add those pieces of state to the dependency array. And did anything substantial change in here? I rearranged this a little bit to draw the triangles first. I added a rectangle to cover up the shadow on the left hand of the last rectangle. Why don't we actually just fire this up? Computer? Hello? Hold on, my VM froze up for a second here. Hopefully that will not be a recurring thing because that is kind of annoying. Okay, good to go there. And no, it's still unhappy. Why is my VM so unhappy? Why do I have bookmarks open? Don't know. Probably just zoom out on this a little bit so it fits. Okay, so yeah, this triangle here that covers up the red triangle to create a background, the shadow was hanging off to the left, so we put a rectangle there to cover that up. Anything else of note in here? I made some tweaks to like how wide the text can get and things like that, but nothing too substantial there. You can see down here, I do my calculation for drawing the subtitle. So I actually calculate the subtitle height into this constant here by calling wrap text with the same parameters, but passing true in for dry run there. I could have done something fancier using a callback function to have the content you're going to render. Render once in a dry run, measure the height, then render it again. But I don't know. I just kept it kind of simple because I'm not going to be in here messing with this very much, I don't think. I did. I used an online AI service to create a SVG of the logo, so that looks a lot better there. And I was actually able to correct the colors to be in line with Groovebox Dark. So I was able just to plug in those colors into the SVG. And, the last substantial thing, I should say two. I removed the position variables or state for the title and the subtitle because I just anchored the subtitle to the bottom. I don't know. I may tweak these font sizes, but, and then as this gets larger, it will just wrap. But since I'm calculating its position from the bottom, it'll just stay anchored to the bottom. So I got rid of the title and subtitle position, Y position values. We don't need those. And then the last thing is I just added this download button. So the download button on click calls this download function here. It gets the sort of PNG data from the canvas element with this toData URL function here on the element itself. Then I create a link. I make the href of the link the image data, like an inline PNG sort of thing. Then I set the download attribute of that link. This allows you to set a file name. And as long as this data is inline or it's on the same domain, it'll also force the browser to download the file rather than trying to open it up in another tab. If it's cross-domain or something like that, then this attribute has no effect. But since it's all the data is just embedded right into the URL or the href attribute, then it does what we want. And so I just use the value of the title, just do a little find and replace here to make it a little bit more file name friendly. And then I add thumbnail.png to it. And then I just simulate a click on the link, and that forces the browser to download the file. So that, I believe, are the substantial changes I've made. And I was actually able to use this for this live stream. So that hopefully this will be a handy tool that I get lots of use of. And hopefully I don't drive myself insane making tiny tweaks and trying to do fancy stuff. But that is the state of that project. So we can move on to the Rails side of things now. So we'll get out of here. Maybe we'll save our change. Maybe we'll even commit our change. Why is it mad? Oh, it's mad because I have this branch checked out on my local machine. I'm just treating a plain repo on my host machine as the remote. So I could, you know what? I can just fix it real quick. So you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to check out a branch on the host machine called temp. Then I'll switch back over to here. And then my git push will work. And then I can go just delete that temporary branch. In fact, I think if I just switch from it, I've never committed. And I won't have to do anything. Oh, I'm actually running it. And hold on. You should probably make sure. What is going on there? I didn't call my state subtitle. I called it a sub. So let's actually fix that. And I think I already checked master out again on the host machine. All right, so let's get out of here. We'll kill this server. We'll kill these tabs. We'll exit that. I think I've already got this running here. No, I don't. Oh, right. We were playing the dependency game. That's right. I should have done this off stream. Oh boy. So we got an infinite loop of resolving dependencies. That doesn't look good. I think I already tried this too, and we got stuck somewhere. Yeah. Where did we get stuck? What's it mad about? Boot snap. Okay. What is all of this business? Can we not update both at the same time? Oh, I see. And PG doesn't want to update. Oh, this might be because we don't have Postgres installed locally. In fact, I'll bet that is the case. Yeah. Been a while since I've had to install this. And of course, everything has a library that comes up in the search. I think it's just PostgreSQL, is it not? I can probably just do a search in here. Yep, just PostgreSQL. And I probably need PostgreSQL libs too, but if my memory serves me. And then I need to initialize the database. I don't remember what that is. And I think for Rails development, just the simplest thing. Yeah. So if we run this command as Postgres, I think that will fire up our database. Then I think we can start the server. And then so we don't have to do that every time, I'm going to enable the service as well. So whenever I boot up this machine, it will all automatically start Postgres for us, which I don't know, maybe we don't need. Maybe we won't be doing a lot of Postgres work. Who knows? Anyway, then I think I want to add myself as a super user, which I think they talk about down here. Yeah. So we're going to run this command as Postgres as well. And if I make the user the same name as my system user, Josh in this case, and we make that user a super user, then we can authenticate to our table's password list, and it just makes development a lot easier. And all of the data really locally is ephemeral anyway. We can always grab a snapshot from the host, Heroku in this case. Actually, do I even have the remote? What am I doing here? Get remote-v. I don't. It's Heroku get remote-a inquest-r production, I believe is what we want to do. And we only have one remote, so we don't need to specify it. So Heroku gives us a nice little command in their CLI package to interact with the remote database. So we're just grabbing a snapshot and creating a local database inside the Postgres server we just set up with the name PinQuest. And then do I have, I don't actually want to open it here, but do I have a .env file? No, I do not. So I'm going to grab my local env file, well, from my host machine, I should say, move it over to here. And I think this might be a situation where I actually just want to, I was going to say I should, I could just grab it via SSH. That's the way I'm going to do it. We got to look at what the IP address is of this guy. That's this, and I'm pretty sure .1 is the host machine, so we can do SCP. And then we can grab this IP address right here, and we can say Cool. So we've got a .env file, and I might have secrets in here, so I am going to switch the screen share and open up this file and see what edits I need to make to it. And then I'm probably going to forget to switch back to the screen share, so that will be fun. Okay, I think everything that's in here will work locally. The database name and host is the same, so that should work just fine. So we'll use the cool Rails Vim plugin to start up our server. And we actually have to finish. Was the I don't think we actually need to update Postgres. And I think this still might fail. I think we might need the libs package. I don't know. Oh, no, we're good to go. Delightful. So now nope. What is the error? This Ruby upgrade is going to cause us all kinds of problems, I think. Somebody is messaging me. Anyway. So CSS parser, we could try updating that. That might be the move. I should probably just use another tmux window. That probably make more sense. Can we do that? What did I just do? Why is it installing all of these? Oh, because I did not have my gem set selected. That's why I was installing all of them. Let's try that. All right, there was an update for it. Did we win? Ooh, it looks like we might have won. We have a syntax error. Failed to import because we also need to. This app is from a time when Yarn was the way to install JavaScript packages in Rails. So let's just run. Oh, we don't have Yarn. Of course not. Now we have Yarn, and it's doing some installing. Installing. All right, and we're done. Did we win? Do we have to restart the server? Ooh, looks like we might win. All right, the app, great. So the point, I don't know, this app does a bunch of stuff. The point of it is to gamify arcade games, if that makes any sort of sense. The idea being the operator or the person who owns a location that has primarily pinball machines, but I suppose other arcade games could work too. They will set up a series of quests where you have to get a certain score on a certain game, and typically that would be 3 games per quest, that sort of thing. And then there's all kinds of fake internet points and real internet points that players can earn, that sort of thing, just to get more engagement with your arcade machines. That's the idea. But there's an operator side of things as well. And one of the things that we do is allow you to help keep track of your accounting through the ability to track counts. So when you go empty out your quarters, you count what you've got. And then you enter that. It keeps track. It draws graphs, that sort of thing. So we will sign in here. I'm going to pop over here. I don't remember which email address I use for this. Oh, I do remember, and I don't want to show it. That's not it. Oh, delightful. I don't. I don't have copying and pasting working on my VM right now, which is a little bit annoying because I have a big, long, randomly generated password. So I think what I'm going to do is just locally here, just change my email address and password in the Rails console. Which is not going to be very exciting for you to watch, but all right. Invite you back in. So now we've got Josh at example.com. And we have an easy to remember and type in crappy password that we use for things that doesn't matter or that don't matter. And you know what? No, never save anything. Okay, cool. So now we're logged in. And we're just going to work on this guy down here. So here's the crux of the issue. So we're going to go to counts for this location. Is when I create a new count, I can add games to this account. So I've got a big list of games, and I can type in, how many coins, dollars, whatever, if I had any outgoing maintenance. Wait a minute. No. Nope. We changed all of this, and I forgot how all this worked. Okay, so these games are not edited through here directly. You have to manage your games at the location level. So I have to go to games, and I can add a new game to my location, blah, blah, blah. And I'm being messaged once again. One moment. Oh, the person that's texting me is the person whose location this is. I'll just let him know. Well, he's watching. I'm showing your financials. Anyway, I don't know. Should I delete all this data and make a bogus location? I should probably do that. Oh, we can't make a new location. Why not? US includes blank. What? Why is it doing that? Well, this is fun. I don't actually understand. Let's open up this file. Can zoom back out as well. So we've got the form for creating a new location. Which just renders form. We got to go into form. And line 28. What is this CS? Where does this come from? No. Where does CS come from? Can I just go to definition, actually? No, of course not. Need to get the language server up and running locally here. I can't remember where this comes from. Oh, city state seems like the gem that it would come from. Is that where we're actually running into the problem? Let's go to the full trace. Yeah, lib city state. Maybe we just need to update this. Let's just try updating this gem. That might be the answer for us. Yeah, looks like there was a fairly major update there. And then the API for it might be different. So let's take a look at that. Looks like we're probably okay. Are we using it anywhere else? I'm calling this states method, states method, states method, states method, and states method. Okay. Probably aren't going to have a major change there. Looks like that succeeded. We do need to restart our server for this, so we'll kill that. What? Didn't I just do that? I'm confused. Did it fail? Did I just not see the error message? Installing. Okay. Thought that's the message I got before. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So that was basically just because I updated the version of Ruby I might actually roll that back because I don't know if I want to do a whole bunch of testing on the application to fix this. I've got a guy for that. I'll make him do the testing, deploy to staging. Anyway, we're going to not select a user. We're not going to select any of this stuff. It does all sorts of fancy stuff that isn't important for the context of this video. We do need to select a state. We'll select Colorado. Doesn't really matter here. We'll do premium plus prize redemption test location. I think it's going to make us enter that. Don't think any of this is required. Remain some city. 0, I don't know where that is, but somewhere in Colorado, hopefully. None of this stuff matters for what we're trying to do. There's a big long location agreement, which we obviously agree to, and we read thoroughly, and we had our lawyer look it over. And I don't want to save that. I never want to save that. And I didn't type enough numbers. You know what? Let's be super cool. All right. Okay, cool. So we've got our test location. And we're actually going to, I'm going to do one more thing here. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this manually on the console. So this I can share. So we'll go back here. We'll go fire up a Rails console here. And we need to install some gems, things that are going to be removed from later versions of Ruby, but we'll address that in a minute. So our new location is ID 124. So we're going to say location.where.not ID 124 dot update. Ooh, actually, how do I? So I want to run this without any hooks or validations. I don't remember what the update all is. So we'll just do find each. There's probably a way to do this in one shot, but I don't remember what it is. We're just going to soft delete all the locations that aren't the one we just created. Wrong number of arguments. Oh, update column. This takes 2 separate arguments. Not a hash. There we go. And it's not going to run any validations or anything. I tried to do this through the admin, but it wouldn't let me because it would have failed a validation for complicated reasons that aren't important right now. Anyway, so we've got our test location now. We need a subscription. We're just going to hack that too. What am I doing here? Holy cow. Update user ID to 2. So that'll make me own it. And is that enough? Okay. Now we're a full-fledged location. So we'll add a few games now. Pinball, of course. And we're just going to select a couple of these at random. And this is important for other portions of the application that I don't want to get into right now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. And, oh, look at this. We're just finding bugs left and right. I have to fire the guy that I hired to test this. Okay, that's an easy one. So we just need to open up this file, which is in the controller. Oh, it's in the model, actually. We can just do, what's it called? Conditional chaining here to fix that. And actually, we don't even need to do that because present would be available on nil. And what we need to do, we need to say return unless game.present. What am I even doing here? Oh, we never selected a game. Ew. We should probably make game required, huh? Maybe that would be a good idea. Because I don't think that's in here at all. Yeah, belongs to game, optional, true. Oh boy. Is this in here for a reason? The world may never know. It's still going to let me do that. Why are you letting me do that? Why are you letting me do that? So we're going to have to look and see what this does now. So this is the index view. What view is this? A good way to find that out, actually, is to lock up your VM. That's really handy. Come on, VM. Come on. Come on. Okay. I've got my business partner sending me text messages. Anyway, okay, what are we doing? We're trying to figure out what view this is. So a handy way to do that is just to refresh, and then it will tell you what controller action is handled. So started get handled by games locations controller index. I thought that's what I started typing in. Yeah, that's the view we want. So this form, where does it submit? It submits to location games location. So that's in here. That should be create. If games location save, yeah. So it shouldn't save. Oh, okay. Okay. So here's what we're doing here. Instead of having a new and an edit screen, I've just embedded the form on the index screen. And then we render the new view if it fails validation. So this fails validation because I didn't select a game. And it doesn't have a grand champion score, which it's just a number we need to capture for some of that questing stuff I was talking about earlier. But the new view doesn't have a place to select a game. So, and of course it renders a form. Why we didn't just put it in there, I don't know. So the game ID is here in a hidden field. But if there's an error, we actually want to give them a selection. So I think what we can probably do, I just throw this down here and go, if at games locations dot, you know what I need to do? I need to raise. Holy cow. I don't remember what the structure of this errors object is, so let's see. Oh. You got to type the variable name correctly. And let's also throw inspect on there because we can only raise a string or a class that inherits from error or whatever, however that works. Okay, cool. So it's an active model errors object. Basically, I want to know if there's an error on the game ID is what I want to know. That's the base object, error attribute game. You know, I might just look this up because this is to see what we've got. Has key sounds like what we're looking for. So we can say if here's game ID. And then we basically just want to render the select from the index screen. So we can just jab over to index, grab this, and come in over here. Throw that in, fix our indentation. And let's see. I don't know where that helper comes from. I think we have access to it here. So resend. There we go. So now if we select a game, and we'll probably select one that needs a grand champion score, add game. Now it just asks for the grand champion score, and our game ID is in the hidden field. Okay, cool. Cool. And what do we got? 3 games now. We got 2 games. Let's add one more. Pinball. We'll select one at random, and I'm sure that it will not have a grand champion score. Great. Cool. So now we got 3 games in our library. So let's do a count now. Let's do a count, new count. And we can, interesting, we can change the game, so we can't add one. All right, so we'll just enter in some numbers here for coin, and that's good enough. Save, and of course, now what do we have? And I'm guessing it's in a library. It's an active model attribute methods. Undefined for an instance of location. I think we maybe just need to manually call 2s on that. So what file is that? That is, I'll go to application trace. That is the count model. Let's fire that up. And then that's line 113. Okay. So we ended up saving that twice. We can just delete one of these. That's fine. So now, we've got our 3 games in here with our counts that we entered. That's what we want. We'll go back. Oh, sorry, I went back one too far. Counts. Now we'll add not a count. I went back the right number. Games. We'll add a new game. Maybe we'll pay attention to what we're adding here. Maybe we'll add Jaws because Jaws is cool. So now we'll add jaws, but we'll go back to our counts. If we create a new count, jaws will be in here. But the problem is if I've got a count that I already started and I save, but then I want to go back and edit it, now jaws is not in here. So we need a mechanism to add a missing game to an existing count. And I think what we're going to do there is just add a little interface to the top of this that shows any games that are in my game library that are not already in this count, and then a button to create the relationship between this count and that game. And then obviously you can edit that. So I'm just going to quit all of this. We're going to open up this. So this is count form, I believe. We're going to grab the controller as well. And edit view. So I think we're going to want missing games. I may decide to move where this is, but I think this is where we're going to want it here. So what this is going to be is probably the counts game IDs minus the locations game IDs. And we might have to go through some associations to get to that, but that is my first guess, having not been in those models for a little while. And then we're just going to raise that so it's really obvious. Okay, so no method game IDs for counts. So I'm going to have to open up that model. So it belongs to, it has many counts games. Okay, so we could just create this association. We could say has many games through counts games. And then that should fix that. And that's an empty array. How is that an empty array? Are we editing the old one? Or is this new? Where are we at here? This is edit. Okay, so our location should have one more. Oh, you know what? We just need to do this in the other direction because subtraction order matters. What do we want? $P. And I should be using Vim motions a little bit better. Oops. F dash. All right, cool. So there's our game ID that we're missing. And then I'm going to look up that available games helper because I think we're probably going to want to borrow from that. I actually want to use grep. Okay, so this is game ordered. So we're going to do this in a little bit different order, but actually it's going to be pretty close to this. So where is our, here it is. So we'll grab that. And game is just another model. So we're going to grab the IDs. What am I doing here? We can just assign it because we're only going to run this once. And then we can do find, and we can put missing games in there. And then the rest is what we want. Ordered, for instance, array. Oh, find returns an array. Interesting. I thought it returned a relationship, but I guess why would it? And there is something in NVChad that brings up a stupid terminal when I hit something on my keyboard. That drives me insane, and I've got that disabled. And I don't want that to be called. I just want to overwrite that instance variable. And we've locked up the VM again. Come on, VM. You know you can do it. That is something I'm going to have to solve, but it's one of those that, how do you know what caused it? So how do you know if you've actually fixed it? Okay, cool. So now we've got an array of arrays with the name and the ID. That's what we want. And we can just turn this into a one-liner. And we could make this one-liner a multi-liner, so it's a little easier to read. That feels pretty good to me. So now we can go to we can go to this form. We could add a select to the top of that. And we're going to steal that select from the games side of things. So eview games locations index, if I remember rightly. Yeah, right here, we're going to grab this select right here. And we can go to this form. And we want to put that right here. What have we done? Oh, this actually, So we're in a form here. We actually don't want this to be related to this form. And now I have to remember what the helper is. That, and it's not remaining games. It's, what I call it, missing games. Is that what I called it? I guess we'll find out. Select field. Oh, what is the to do a select outside collection select, date select, date time select, group collection select. Oh boy, what is the name of the method where you can draw one of these outside of the context of a form? I do not remember. Oh, it is apparently just select. Delightful. It's not being styled, which I'm not quite sure about. Oh, you know what? I think this takes an extra hash. What am I trying to do here? I want to see the select here. Everything is so gigantic. Okay. Yeah, okay. We're going to have to look up this method because I don't remember how it works. Rails select helper. Rails form helpers. I got the feeling this is the wrong one. Oh, select tag is actually what I think that I want. Options for select, which I think is just a helper. Let's try select tag. See if that gets us anywhere. Wrong number of arguments. Expected 1 to 3. Okay. So it needs a name. That's good. Then it needs an array. I think maybe this is one. Options array. Of array into string. What? Oh, that's what that options for select helper is for. Yep, it takes an array of arrays. Okay. Does that return the string that we want? It appears that it may have. And we got our styling. And we got our select to. Select to, or the searchable select, probably not the most important thing. We probably need some text for this. We'll make somebody else write it. We'll get the functionality working, and then we'll ask someone else what it should say. And then we need a button. Probably want an ID on this thing too. Probably just going to handle all of this client side. Oh boy, what are the classes and all that on this in this app for buttons and stuff? All right. And then I probably have some sort of class to make this like an inline form that makes sense. What did we do over here? Oh, that's like a whole form. I would like to just do flex on this. Do I just have a flex helper class? This application does not use Tailwind, but I did just manually add a bunch of Tailwind-esque classes. Just, I don't know, to preserve my sanity. What is this margin over here? What is that business? Why are you doing that? One of these needs to grow, maybe. I can't spell you. Oh, it does. Oh, the class doesn't make it onto this. We just grow our button a tiny bit. Okay, we'll grow our button a tiny bit. Anyway, so what was happening there is we're just rendering a plain old HTML select with this helper here. But this, I think this game class, yeah, fires up a select to. That's what's happening there. We also have a library on here called Cocoon, which I think will help us add this game, but I'll have to brush up on how it works. Okay. So I think what I might actually do is just steal from another area of the application. So if I start creating a quest, I believe we're using that Cocoon library. And so we can go in there and refresh our memory as to how Cocoon works, and we can get our new game added to an old count. And why can't I find the word quests? It's right there. Okay. So new quest, standard quest. Anyway, so we're going to add goals to our quests with this very discrete button here. And that creates that. And this just runs a little front-end JavaScript that helps us manipulate our form HTML, and then Rails handles the actual submission. Probably not how I would do it these days, but that's how this was done. So actually, we want the form almost certainly. So we got the add goal button, and without a lot of screen real estate, I might actually just move this over to 2. So we've got a little bit more space. Okay, so these data attributes here pertain to Cocoon. And actually, there's this helper called add to link association. Add link to association. All right, so let's grab that. There's our fancy new games. We don't actually want that button. We can probably remove whatever classes make that button look super ridiculous. Button annoying. Mission accomplished. We'll go primary. You might recognize a little bootstrap action. This was, I don't know, bootstrappy at one point. Maybe as a bootstrap theme applied. I actually don't remember. Anyway, so we've got a fields for here. I think that needs to match that, which we've got. We need to change that to counts games. Insertion node. So I think this page used to work this way. So these counts used to be completely unassociated with your game library. What am I doing? GNP. Whoa. Okay, let's try that again. We'll go down here. We'll grab this. So we want to insert it into that element, and then association insert method equals append. So add it to the end. I feel like that maybe is the default, and we don't need to specify that. But whatever. We will leave it for now. And then I think we need like a template in here, which we might have. How does that work? So fields for render goals, fields. The fact that we're rendering a partial inside this subform fields for thing here may be a big chunk of how this works. Let's actually just see where, if anywhere, that got us. We're still not handling the actual game we're selecting. We'll get to that in a second, but my locations, counts, edit. Oh, goals. Association goals does not exist on count. What? Didn't I change that? Did I not save? Maybe I didn't save. Oh, I totally didn't save. Okay, so we've got, I might zoom out just to make this a little bit more sane, because it's not imperative that we like read any of this. Okay, so we've got 3, and we're going to click this add button. And now we've got 4. Okay, you know what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to worry about this. I am probably going to make these uneditable. And then just have the game selection for the new ones. Is that the way I want to do it? No, I'll probably leave them editable. And I'll probably... actually, here's a question. If I add one of these that I don't have, like AG football, I almost certainly don't have. Does this add that to my game library? Are we handling that? Yeah, we don't have AG football. What happens if I do that? So edit. We've still got AG football. And then my location games. Did that update my game library? It did not. Probably want to leave those, force them to grab one that's associated with their game library. So you know what? Simplest thing, best thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just grab that, and we're going to grab the locations game IDs. There's a simpler way to do that. We can just say location games map. Okay. Then we can go over here to our counts games, or our form. We can ditch this selection for missing games. We don't need that. You know what? We are going to do this, though. We're not going to let them... We're going to hide that button. So we still want to know that. So we're going to actually make this a Boolean. Has missing games. And that's going to be... so we're going to do location.games, game IDs, minus at count count.game IDs .any. So that will be a Boolean, and we'll say if has missing games. Could probably just do that in the view. I don't know. Sometimes the whole separation of concerns things just seems like a lot more trouble than it's worth. Flipping around between 3 or 4 files to edit one simple thing, and you're like, what am I actually gaining here? Okay. So add counts games. This is all fine. And we're not going to select a game anymore. Probably want to make that a block level link if it's not by default. We're going to go back to our count. Should probably have a way to delete a game out of here too. Which Cocoon actually does for us quite nicely. So we can add that for sure. What do I want to do here? I'm just going to manually delete this real quick like. Where's my button? Why do I have no button? Gotta save. Why am I all of a sudden unable to save? We'll maybe make that add. Is it button block? I think it might be. Why are you not a block level elements? The parent is full width. Button block. Is it just not button block? What? Tell me I don't have a block class? You got to be kidding me. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Display block? What is going on? That is curious. Why are you not full width? Do I have that class? I do have that class. Okay. Might seem a little bit ridiculous to make this full width, but people are usually accessing this on a phone, so it makes a little bit more sense in that context. Okay, so we will add a game that works. Oh, we don't want the whole game library. We need to fix that. That's over here in counts fields. So instead of available games, that's going to be our games instance variable. So add game from library. We can select Jaws. We can put in 999 and we can save that. Edit. And we've got Jaws, $9.99. Delightful. Delightful. Okay, the last thing we're going to want to do, because I'm sure this will come up, even though it isn't part of this immediate request, is be able to delete one of these. That should be fairly trivial as well. So let's zip over to this file here. There's a helper that creates a button that handles it. And it's this link to remove association. We'll put that up over here. We'll maybe, float that off to the right. Remove class button danger button small. Sounds good. And I think all it takes is this F object. And then it handles all the Railsy stuff of setting the hidden destroy field and all that jazz. Or if it's not persisted yet, I think it will just delete it. I kind of don't like that. Let's Oh, you can't just render an HTML entity in there. Okay. I think this is where Tailwind really shines, where you've got some big old code base with a whole bunch of CSS in it. Then you want to come in and make a little tweak, and you can't remember the structure and how you had it laid out. And this time you were sure you found the formula for having the most bestest organized CSS in the planet. Then you go, God, I kind of just want to make like a red X button. And you're like, oh, do I have something? I don't know. Then you go and you stomp on the toes of something else you did and cause some kind of conflict. Tailwind, just come in here, add the helper classes, make it look exactly the way I want. Or, delete a section of the website and then it prunes out all the utility classes you're not using. I don't know. If you're not using Tailwind, you're wrong, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe a year from now, I'll think that I was wrong. Not eView. What am I trying to do here? E-style sheet. And then we got like 20 style sheets on this thing. E-style sheet app application. I don't know. Oh, look, a buttons file. This seems relevant. Button red. Button red feels pretty good. Let's see what button red does for us. It's probably just one of those off the we also need the button base class. That seems terrible. So let's just do God, I don't know. Do we grab button red? And then do we just go font size like 2 rem, padding 0.25 rem, border radius. If I could type at 100%. How close does that get us? We'll probably want to make it square if we're going to make it round. And that is terrible because I forgot to save something. Oh, because I can't type. Okay, getting closer. Oh, why are you not doing that? I don't think that's perfectly centered, but I kind of don't care. Just create a little space between that and the field, maybe even a little bit more. All right, so let's remove JAWS from this count. Remove. It's gone. Save. Edit. That's good. I want to do one more thing. I want to add JAWS for $9.99 or 000, whatever it is. Then remove it and then save. I think this is all going to be fine. That Cocoon library. I mean, like, it would be super trivial just to do all this stuff with a React front end, manipulating collections of things. Just, I don't know, seems a lot simpler than the old way. But Cocoon did a pretty good job of making that pretty pain-free if you're on a more, I don't know, old school rendered content submissions to the backend server sort of model. So that feels pretty good and actually solves the thing we wanted to solve. So I think I'm going to deploy this to staging, and I'll do that after I close off the stream here. So I don't know. Hopefully you watched 2 seconds of this and found some of it either entertaining or educational or both. And I am going to sign off for now.